Hello members, Mike Bell here from the Armchair Trading Floor. Sunday 9th of September 2018. The market's just opened about an hour ago, so we're giving you this week's watch list live as it comes. What we wanted to do with this week's watch list is basically start off with fresh charts, give you our bias, and basically just take you through. Now, as we mentioned previously, over the last 2 weeks we've been singing for the XXX USD longs and anything XXX, anything USD XXX for the shorts as well. Now, it's all revolving around this head and shoulders formation that's potentially been set up on the daily time frame and on the weekly time frame for the US dollar. So you can check the dollar index by just typing DXY into your trading view. But you can see here we had a huge move up, and we've potentially formed a left shoulder, a head, and a right shoulder. So we called the shorts quite perfectly actually about 2 weeks ago from this 96 high, and we have seen price fall down, but I'm hoping that we can just move below these moving averages and get us to around this 93 93.00, and this will give us some extra confirmation that we are going to create a new lower low on the DXY chart as well, going into 2019. So this is what we're having a look at. You can see here we called the short from this pin bar, bearish pin bar move right there. We got a short on the daily, but we've actually retraced quite frustratingly on the hourly time frame. If I just go in, on the hourly time frame towards the back end of last week, it looked as if we were actually going to break this trend line right there, because we had the spike down, we had a nice ABC pattern down, and we've tapped this trend line, but we failed to actually break it 1, 2, 3 times, got rejection, and moved above the MAs. And we're getting some nice resistance right there at the 95.8 level. I'll just take this into a 4-hour time frame just so we can see a wider perspective of this market right now. So take us into the 4-hour, we can actually see here this zone where we're getting wicks, we're getting price wicking right into this zone, 95.5 up to 95.7. Looking left, you can see that that level of resistance has actually continued from around about the middle of July, and even before that, because we're at that shoulder point of this potential head and shoulder. So all we need to see now is price just continue to reject within this region and then give us that final break below as well. We have got this trend line to obviously break below, so if we were looking for a short anytime once we've broken below this trend line right there. So we're looking for a counter trend just to take us back to the downside on the DXY, anything under 93, and then this is going to absolutely tumble. We should get a nice impulsive move right there. Looking on the weekly side of the dollar index as well, I'll take you in to the weekly. The weekly again gives us a lot more to look at. So if you have a look at the weekly, you can see that this head and shoulders is actually quite clear. All we need now is just to break below this moving average, get down to 93, break below 88, and once we've broken below 88, we will be seeing further lows as well. But this is going to be literally across the next few years. So it's a good time to actually accumulate positions, small positions, and just wait and sit patient and let the market do its thing. Going on to the monthly. You can see here, looking at the monthly from the 1980s, you can see that the dollar's actually declined, created a lower high, created a lower low, and then again on this head and shoulders we're hoping for a new lower high to be formed before taking us lower on the DXY. So that's the overall perspective. Again, just to give you an update on that one, that's what we see. We're looking at sells in that resistance zone of this head and shoulders, taking us into on the 4-hourly time frame. Get some resistance right there. Hopefully break through this counter trend line, do a retest, and then fall all the way down to that weekly support level of the 93.50, and then further to the 92 level as well. So that's potentially what we're looking for the DXY. I look forward to obviously sharing this video a little bit later on and then sharing that with you all. The next chart that we're going to actually analyze is the USD JPY. So getting onto UJ right now, if I just click onto UJ, we take a look on UJ, we should go to the daily time frame. Just get rid of some of this noise on the UJ right there. There we go. So going on to one of our charts again, if you go on our Instagram you can see this chart. We call this move back up to 113 quite nicely. I'm just going to delete all the stuff on here so it's nice and clear for everybody. Great. So looking on the daily time frame, what we need to have a look at right now is this trend line. We are in a trend channel on USD JPY. So we've got the initial trend line from May 2015. Again, we create a lower high form, and we're correcting right now. But I'm hoping that this is actually going to go lower. It appeared to be a flag, but we failed to break in November 2017, which completely sent us to the downside to hit 105s. But we should see a nice rollover, and now is going to be a perfect time, especially with the dollar weakness approaching for shorts on USD JPY. So we can just pretty much highlight this recent channel on UJ and then expect to get a nice move to the downside on that trend line support as well. So all we need to do is look for that 1 or 4 hour setup on the sell side, and that is simply just going to be, I'll just go to the 4 hourly, and that's going to be based upon we've had a break of this trend line. So you can see there we've got this trend line extended, we've got the trend, however we've created a level of resistance. We've got previous resistance from May 2018, so we're going to highlight this zone right there. We are in a crucial resistance zone. Even looking left, you can see this was a level of support, now turned resistance. And we're going to be looking for sells within this zone. We could see the market potentially pip upwards to around about an extra 100 pips, but we're going to be looking at taking short at around 1.1198. I think we're actually going to fail to meet 112 for the final time before rolling over, but we're going to be looking at short positions at 1.1198. Happy with the 100 pip stop loss, and then you can take shorts to 104.50. Now 100 pips is quite a big stop loss, so your entries on these ones are supposed to be a nice conservative entry, a nice small entry. So Don't be taking out big trades. Just set a nice pending order, set, forget, and just leave this trade to fall into the background. So an extremely small entry, but let's just let time play its part on this position. Going on to the next pair that we're going to have a look at is, let's focus on the GBP. So we're going to look at sterling right now, see what the sterling's up to. So GBP CAD. Looking at GBP CAD on the 1 hour time frame. Now what I can see here on GBP CAD is we've got a strong level of resistance actually formed beneath, and that's actually, it appears that we've actually got a triple top formation right here. So a triple top is simply 3 rejections, rejection, 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 and you can see how within this zone of 1.7090 and 1.7120, it's about a 30 pip range right there. So we've got a 30 pip range for rejection, so we've got a triple top rejection on this pair. So let's just draw on some arrows just to mark exactly what we see. So rejection 1, rejection 2, final rejection 3. Let's go to a larger time frame just so we can get a clear idea of the market. Now we've got a quite clear trend line right there. So price is respecting this trend line and using the moving average as dynamic support as well for this upside move. If we take a look, we should see a corrective structure on this trend line. So the price is just basically should just move across these 3 moving averages. I've got my 9 EMA highlighted, I've got my 20 EMA and my 200 EMA. So we could see, after this triple top formation right there, we could see a nice pullback and a potential ABC pattern formed as well. So we've had a nice big massive push up, we've retraced another push up and a few failed attempts as well. So we could see a final chance to go up before going short on this pair. Again, similar thing, we want to be looking at entries at around 1.7076, around about 100 pips on the stop loss, and then our take profit should take us down about 300 pips. So nice 1 in 3 risk reward. If I take a look at this position, let's see if we can see a ABC Elliott wave potentially formed. And then we'll just get our Fibonacci to allow. I would say, looking at this, we can put our sell entries within this crucial sell zone between the 61.8 and the 78.6 fib. So looking at entries in between 1.7020 and around 1.7058. So you want to be taking your entries towards the top side, and I think that we should have our stop loss reduced just slightly above last week's resistance zone, so 74 pips, and I would take profit at this minus 27 fib, which is the daily support of 1.6793. So you can see here, daily support right there, highlighted. So we're going to be looking at taking shorts as we head up to this resistance. Hopefully we'll break this trend line, complete an ABC pattern, and then take us down to take profit around our minus 27 fib. What else can we actually see on this trading pair? We can see that price made that triple top into the resistance. We've got a potential channel, an ascending channel forming right now, and we're actually at the bottom side of this channel. So this is the channel that I can see. Again, we wick to the top end of the channel right here. I'll just make a note of this. We wick to the top of that channel right there, and then you can see that this triple top came from another wick coming on the first rejection right there. So it's quite clear that we've got some trendline support on the bottom side here, and we've also got some trendline resistance within this ascending channel. Now triple top, rejections right there on the 4LA, 1, 2, 3. All we need to do now is just break this trendline support, and then we're going to be targeting the daily support, which is within this region. So again, let's just wait for the market to probably shoot price up another 30, 40, 50 pips before taking short on GBP CAD, and then hopefully we can get a nice comfortable 1 in 3 risk reward for that pair. I think sterling's going to go down as well. If we look at GBP Swiss franc, let's just go over to another sterling chart. GBP Swiss franc. Let's take this out to the daily. Taking this out to the daily, what we can see here is that we can see that we've got an expanding wedge. And we've actually broken this trend line. So you can see the price, we've got highs, lows, highs, and then we've actually had a moving average crossover right there. Price has taken us down. We've broken, so very discreetly broken on the daily time frame, broken, completed a retest, and we are continuing lower. So we should be targeting this first level of minor support around the 1.22 level as well. So potentially another 300 pips to go down. GBP normally moves quite choppy, so I think this should be a pretty straight move down. You can see here on the most recent price action, again within about 2 weeks, recovering literally 500 pips, and then a retracement another 400 pips, again within another 3 weeks, covering another 400 pips. So it's quite realistic to think that this is just going to drop straight 300 pips pretty much from the market open. So GBP Swiss franc, if you go to the 4-hour time frame, we'll see if we can get a potential for an entry or an entry opportunity here. We wicked up, we failed to break, so I would see just targeting at the top of this wick, because wicks usually get filled. So this zone right there, price should consolidate before dropping further. I would use this box range as our first region to target of support and resistance. So looking at GBP Swiss franc, we really want to be looking at taking entries at the box resistance. So we're going to be looking at shorts just above 1.26110. So my shorts are going to be set, and my pending orders are going to be set at around 1.2625 with a 60 pip stop loss at 1.2690. What I'll do is I'll just basically continue to take shorts. If price comes down, I'll take some profit at the box support, take further entries, but I'll hopefully just look to accumulate a few different entries on the trend on this box resistance as well. So taking sells at this top range of the box resistance. If we get a breakout off the box range, we should definitely be seeing 1.22. So pretty much another 150 pips. So to manage this trade, there's two things you want to do. Wait for price to head up, which it should do, to 1.2624, another 100 pips somewhere during this week. Look for sell opportunities at that resistance level. Hopefully later on in the week the price will break this box region, and then we'll take further sells on the retest of that box region. So once we've retested, you're going to be looking at taking another sell opportunity to take us down to our weekly support right there. So this is what next week's trade should hopefully look like within this region. Have a great trading week. We will send out the trading signals when we've got more confirmation once the market's open. There are pairs that we're going to be looking at, some nice strong pairs. For you guys that are still in the member zone and are having a good time, make sure you continue to check the website. We are adding new PDFs on there every day. The new PDF, which is the Elliott Wave Made Simple PDF, is going to be live on the members zone in the next 2 days. Hope you have a great week. Any questions, direct message admin, and safe trading.